Hi. Wow, this is kind of strange. So I haven't really made a video before, talking into a camera and then with a light in my face and everything. But yeah, so I'm moving away from this town soon to another city to finish my master's degree. And so I just figured I would make a little video talking about my current home studio setup and all the stuff that I've gotten for the past few years. So yeah, thank you for being here and welcome. So first off is acoustic treatment. So I've been living in this room for the past 3 years, and just a few months after I moved in, I realized that there's a lot of reflection, like slapback, and also the room has a resonance, which happens to be a B note. So whenever I play a B on my guitar or bass or keyboard or anything at all, it just sounds louder than other notes. That's how I found out. So yeah, I was like, I have to do something about it. And then I put up these thin foam panels, which is honestly what every tutorial out there tells people to not do. Yeah, it's not the most effective against, like resonance and everything, but they do cut down the reflection a good bit. So they're not entirely useless. And these yellow foam pieces all around, they are mattress toppers from a fellow producer friend of mine. So they also help with reflection a little bit, especially when I'm recording right underneath it. Our landlords discourage just drilling, so that's why I haven't put up anything permanent. I didn't want to do that in the first place since I'm renting the place. Like, I didn't want to have to like put in all the work with acoustic treatment and then just to have to take it all down in a few years when I move out. So yeah, so I've been just putting up with the minor acoustic issues in this room. So next up is my workstation. So I'm using my gaming PC for most of my production work as well. When I was picking the parts, I just prioritized noise. So it does run pretty quiet, which is nice. I just have it tucked in the corner behind the desk over there. And my laptop, which is currently over here, working as my secondary screen. It's also powerful enough to run my DAW, so I just use it for like on-the-go kind of recording sessions. My current audio interface is the SSL12. I made the upgrade from a Steinberg UR22C about a year ago. So the UR22C was the first interface that I bought. It's what I started recording and production on. But later on, when I got into more complex sessions, I just found the 2 input, 2 output kind of configuration a little restricting. And the preamps on that thing were also quite noisy. I'll put a graph up, but it just made sampling and recording quieter sound sources really difficult. So the SSL12 was a big jump up in terms of quality and functionality. Like, now I get phantom power on separate channels, I get more inputs and outputs. The preamps on that thing is really quiet. Again, the graph is going to be up. And also the SSL 360 software is really useful in terms of routing and patching and stuff. For my main monitors, I've been using the PreSonus Iris 3.5, and also behind me I have a pair of Logitech desktop speakers. So all 4 of them are set up to run as a pseudo 4-channel surround sound kind of setup. So that was kind of cool. For a room that's not super well treated, these are more than enough for like casual listening and also just my level of production and everything. Headphone wise, I've been using the Biodynamic DT series. So these are the DT 770 Pro. Just killer sounding headphones, really detailed, really decent like soundstage and extension as well. There is quite a lot of controversy out there about how suitable it is for mixing and everything because it's not flat. But I've gotten over it, I think, and my ears have been pretty accustomed to the sound profile of these, so I've been producing on these. And these are the DT 990 Pro X. These are a fairly recent addition to my collection. I just got them because I wanted to give open backs a try, and it has been really interesting. And I do prefer the sound profile over the 770. Like, these are just a little smoother, a little mellower. But because it's open back, it's not the most suitable for a lot of recording sessions. So I tend to use the 770s more when I'm recording, especially with like a metronome. So in the past year, I've done a few recording sessions outside of this studio, and I had to transport all my gear and microphones and stuff in a backpack, which is quite challenging and obviously risky. So that's why I added a Pelican case to my collection. This is the Volt 525. It's weatherproof, so I use it for both storage and transportation. It's got wheels, it's quite convenient. And now I'll walk through my gear collection as I load it up. First, I put in my mobile interface in the bottom of the case with the USB cable and aux extension cords. This is the M Audio Air. I picked it up for about $30 from Joe's Mill, which is a local instrument lending library. So it's also 2 inputs and 2 outputs, which is fairly similar to the UR22C, but the preamps are far better. So it's a lot quieter, and I can just record whatever I want to record, like outside of the studio. And I got it just so that I don't have to like disassemble the entire desk setup whenever I want to record outside of my studio. So next up, I have a matched pair of small diaphragm condensers. These are SC7 from SC Electronics. They're really neutral sounding, so they're quite handy to have around for either sampling or just stereo recordings. I used to have an Audio-Technica AT2020, but I sold it to upgrade to the LCT 440 Pure from Lewitt. It's got a very low self-noise of just 7 dB, so that makes it very suitable for, again, sampling and stuff. It's a very detailed and bright sounding microphone, so some people might not like it on some sound sources or some voices even, but nonetheless, it's a very versatile microphone. Now is the SC4400A from, again, SC Electronics. I got it for the multipolar pattern feature, so I can experiment with more recording techniques like mid-side and everything. Compared to the Lewitt, this one's quite warm, but it's not too dark. So it's a very comfortable microphone to listen to. And this is the Aston Spirit, which is the microphone you're listening to right now. I got it mostly because of impulse. It's a very classy and eye-catching design, and its sound I would describe as in between the Lewitt and the SE. It's warm, but it's also kind of crispy, so I quite like it on my own voice. Next up is the must-have in every studio, the legendary Shure SM57. This was the very first microphone that I've ever purchased from about 6 years ago. Not much to say about this one, it's legendary for good reasons. The big compartment in the middle is for cables and headphones. These are the Moondrop Chew 2, very decent sounding and inexpensive IEMs. I've had issues before when instrumentalists can't really play with bigger headphones like the DT770s. And for some reason, the 2 violinists that I've recorded, they both had the smallest ears I've ever seen on a human being. So that's why I got the Chews, just because they're so tiny, and I just keep them in my case and I never wear them just so that they stay clean. Here I put my 990s in for a demonstration, but I will probably bring the 770s more often just because they're close back. I also chuck a few XR to TRS adapters in there too, just in case. The bottom right compartment is for various thread adapters and microphone mounts. I keep the stock pop filter from the LCT 440 in there too. And the top right compartment is for phone windscreens. I've used the SM57 for outdoor vocal applications like busking before. So I also bought the Shure detachable phone windscreen for it too. And lastly, I just put my gooseneck pop filter on top of everything. Lastly, it's my collection of instruments. So for my main keyboard, I've been using the Yamaha CK61. It's a stage piano, so it's got like built-in sounds and speakers and everything. But I mostly use it as my main MIDI controller. But the built-in speaker means I can use it for like some quick playing when I have ideas, or even take it out to gigs. Because like the built-in sounds are actually quite nice. I also picked up a Arturia Minilab 3 just as my like mobile MIDI controller. It's a small little thing, and it's quite useful to bring around when I have like songwriting sessions or whatever outside of the studio. And in terms of actual instruments, I have 3 guitars and a bass. My bass is a Gretsch Jet Club, I believe. Yeah, it's a budget short scale bass, but like the build quality and the sound is not cheap in any way. It's really fun to play with, and I also put like flat wound strings on it, just because all the basses I've had around before, the ones I borrowed or rented or lended, they all had flat wounds for some reason. So I just got used to it, and it is more comfortable to play on. So I just put them on this bass as well. My electric guitar is the PRS SE CE24. So this is the first like bigger investment I put into an electric guitar. Before this one, I was like hopping between $200, $300, $400 like beginner models. I think it's like Ibanez Geos or Jackson JS models, kind of, which are not bad guitars at all. Like the value of those guitars are up there. But like as I was using them more often, they just all run into like bigger or smaller issues, like sooner or later, like quality control issues, hardware issues, electronic issues, that kind of stuff. And I was like, that's it. Like I'm just saving up and then like putting a bit more money into like a higher quality one. Basically, that's why I got this. So I've made like a brief video about this guitar before, so you can check that out if you're interested. My acoustic is a Fender CC60 SCE, so a budget model, and I got it secondhand, so I had to put in some work to improve the playability. So it has a piezo pickup, but the previous owner for some reason put in like a brand new full height saddle on top of the piezo pickup strip. So the saddle was insanely high, and I had to like take it out, take the nut off, and then file them down both like a bunch, just to like restore the action and to make it playable basically. But it's been working pretty well since. I also replaced the bridge pins too, just for looks, because the tone difference is too subtle for my ears and I wouldn't really bother worrying about it. So my last guitar is the Ibanez FRH 10N, like a regular version of the Tim Henson signature model TLD 10N. So this one doesn't really have the fancy fretboard inlays like Tree of Death or whatever he calls it, but it does have this like really cool metallic pink paint job, which is lovely. And it also has a piezo output. And I recently started experimenting with miking this guitar and then blending the mic'd signal with the piezo output. And the result's been pretty interesting. Like it just makes it sound a lot more natural. So yeah, I will link a few songs in the description that features like all of these guitars. My pedal board is also quite interesting. I have the guitar going into a Boss Super Overdrive, an EVH 5150 distortion, a spark booster, a Boss DD3 delay, and then into a Behringer mixer. I came up with this setup maybe 2 years ago when I was busking a whole bunch, and basically what I was able to do was plug my SM57 into the Behringer mixer, and that little thing was apparently powerful enough to drive the microphone. So I was able to take the mixed signal from the mixer, route it into my Hall of Fame reverb, and then into my RC5 looper. My current amp is the Fishman Loudbox Mini. It's an acoustic amp, but surprisingly good as a pedal platform too. It's also 10 more watts than the Boss Katana I used to use, but in way smaller of a form factor, which is a huge plus. So that'll be it for the studio tour, and yeah, I didn't realize until I started editing that the audio quality in those clips were so terrible. For someone who's calling themselves a producer and then like been talking about audio and gear for like 15 minutes. So that was really ironic. So apologies about that. Now I have to admit, like as someone who's on a student budget, like owning all of these things are definitely not the most like financially responsible thing to do. And I was quite hesitant about making this video just because I didn't want to go out there and be like, hey, look at me, and then this is where all my savings went. Like, even though a lot of the things I got are at a discounted price, like I think all of my microphones are secondhand, and then, you know, the interface is secondhand as well. I think the 990 is refurbished, I believe. But like, it still doesn't quite like excuse the amount of this investments that I've put into like just gear alone. But yeah, I hope as I like learn and produce more, especially like in this like new program I'm going to, I can like just get the most out of these things. So yeah, that's about it. If you stayed around for this entire video, thank you so much. And I'll probably make another video like once I get to my new apartment, and then like start setting up our like home studio with that producer friend of mine. So yeah, if you're interested in that, please stay tuned. But yeah, that'll be it for this video. Bye.